Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're doing part 3 of my Rena Rouge Cosplay walkthrough, and in today's video we're working on the wig. Yes, I am finally tackling this wig video. I'm going to show you what I used, how I dyed it and everything, how I got this ombre done. So yeah, let's just jump right in and get started. Now for the base wig, I actually used a white lace front wig. I believe the one I used is this one here. I also used it for my Miraculous Cosplay, but you do not need to use a lace front. You could also use a wig like this. I think the two pieces on the wig would actually make it easier for you to dye them. And speaking of dyeing them, I'm starting off with boiling some water. And this is the dye that I'm using. You want to make sure you get the synthetic dye so it will dye your synthetic wig. Here's me pouring that dye right on in. And I'm going to stir it and mix it up so it's evenly distributed in the water. And while that dye is marinating in the water, I went ahead with my wig and I sectioned off the parts that I wanted to keep white and the parts that I wanted to dye orange. So I tied them off with a hair tie, and I actually put those like the chip bag clips on the end to make sure that they would not go into the dye, and you'll see me put it in a second. So you see how I've got it, and I've got the pieces that I don't want dyed out of the water, making sure they're not touching it at all. Unfortunately, you're gonna get a little bit of orange in your white, but you just have to make sure you keep them as separate as you can. So this is how I did mine, leaning off to the side. And the chip bag clips on the end really help to like weigh it down so it doesn't fall back in. And making sure to keep those white and orange parts separate, I kind of rigged it on my shower to hang it so that the white parts were above the orange parts and the orange parts could dry without touching any of the white parts. I just had to rig it kind of oddly just to make sure it would work. And this is how it looked the next day after drying. The white parts were actually still looking pretty good. The only problem was that the areas in the front were not as saturated as like the back areas, but I still thought it turned out pretty okay for my first like real like ombre dye like this. And since, like I said, the front parts didn't get dyed as much as I wanted them to, I actually put some more dye into this little bowl and tried to dye them a little bit more. And this actually ended up doing nothing. It didn't help at all. So yeah, I just figured I'd leave it alone. And now, since in some photos, her hair looks like it has a little bit of brown in it, I went and I tried to add a little bit of brown to the root by using a brown Sharpie and a little bit of alcohol to blend it out. And this also didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. It did add a little more saturation to the front, but I think you're fine without it. And yeah, here's what it started to look like. The alcohol blends the orange a bit more, and it just gives it a little bit more saturation, but this is definitely not a necessary step. Now we are on to the hardest part of all this, styling this wig into a ponytail. Now, if you have one of these wigs with clip-on ponytail, then this won't be an issue for you at all. But if you do, however, go with the lace front like me, you're gonna have to figure out a way to get this wig into a ponytail. So what I did was I secured all the clips around the wig, and then I used got-to-be glue around my edges. And then with a headscarf, I tied the wig down onto my head so it wouldn't move. And then I just struggled and struggled and struggled, and finally, I was able to get the wig into a ponytail. There are clips in the back of this wig as well, so that it also helps to hold it down. And I'm sorry I couldn't get it on video. I was filming all of this on my phone, and I only filmed it in parts, so I'm sorry, but just try your best to get it into the ponytail. If the wig is secure with everything that I used, hopefully it'll be in place. And you might have a few frayed hairs or something, but bobby pins and everything will help you to lay it down better. If I ever do go back and restyle this wig, I will be sure to do a video on it and show you guys exactly what I did. Or if you have any questions about anything I did, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!